Hello YouTubers out there, this is Jerry Saravia at the movies. So there are two different issues right now going on with Netflix, technically three. One is Netflix has spent an enormous amount of money, close to $170 million on Scorsese's next film, which is just wrapped and is going through a post-production process of $170 million. Okay, so we're not sure what's going to happen because Scorsese's last film, Silence, didn't do well in theaters at all. Um, then the next thing is that The Other Side of the Wind, Orson Welles' last film that was incomplete but has just been finished, is not going to be screening at the Cannes Film Festival because Cannes Films, the festival itself, has decided that Netflix has been banned because there is some sort of a law, which I don't fully understand, that prevents films that I guess exist on video on demand, which Netflix might sort of qualify, from being screened. But it might be screened under the Cannes Classics. Now that deserves a little more research, so I won't talk about that. But the one thing I do find interesting is that on the tail end of all of this, Spielberg apparently has just made a comment that Netflix films, they shouldn't be nominated for Oscars. They should only exist to be nominated at the Emmys, because he sees them as TV movies. Now, mind you, Spielberg had a film which was a TV movie. He did a few back in the day in the 70s, late 60s. One of them being Duel, which probably is one of the most famous TV movies ever released, which starred Dennis Weaver. And that film was shown on TV, had a $450,000 budget, which was rather high for its time, and actually was released in theaters later on. So, what about that, I guess? But that's neither here nor there. But the interesting thing is that he said that Netflix movies, apparently they follow the rules required to become eligible for Oscars. So, case in point, there was Beasts of No Nation and Mudbound, the latter of which received 4 nominations, although there were no wins. What do you say about that? Now, his feeling is fewer and fewer filmmakers, and I quote, are going to struggle to raise money or to compete at Sundance and possibly get one of the specialty labels to release their films theatrically. More of them are going to let the streaming video-on-demand businesses finance their films, maybe with a promise of a slight one-week theatrical window to qualify for awards. But in fact, once you commit to a television format, you are a TV movie. Well, but if Netflix releases some of their films in theaters, and they qualify for, at the very least, 7 days with 3 screenings a day, then who cares if they are streaming on demand? Because for Edward Burns, it's worked out a lot better. For example, who did the film 23 years ago called The Brothers McMullen. He's done some films that have been on demand, and and by the way, he got a push from Steven Spielberg also by appearing in the film Saving Private Ryan. So, interesting that Spielberg brings up all of this, because we would like to think that maybe nobody has an issue with Orson Welles, and in particular The Other Side of the Wind, which Netflix is going to distribute the film, obviously, but put up the money to complete the film, and it will be available on Netflix pretty damn soon. Who knows? What do you think? Do you think that Netflix should have their films nominated for Oscars, and already one of them has been, Mudbound, or not? And if they have a one-week window at the very least where they can compete and qualify, shouldn't they? If they are shown and released in a theater. I mean, I agree. You show a film, you release it in the theater, it should be able to qualify. Keep in mind, too, that a lot of the short films that are nominated for Oscars, or short documentary shorts, and so on, I mean, who knows where they're shown, if they're even shown in a theater at all. And maybe they do because they have to qualify, but I don't know. It's an interesting point. So, and those are not being made by Netflix. So, does it deserve? I would say yes, but I would like to hear from the rest of you on what you think about what Spielberg said and Netflix. And please subscribe and to Jerry Saravia at the Movies. And that's all I got to say on that. And this is Jerry Saravia at the Movies, signing off.